Oneness is simply the idea God is. We're going to be reading this passage today. I'm reading from this book, Simply A Course in Miracles, by Alao Alani. That's my pen name. It's on Amazon if you're interested. I will put this in the description as well, the actual passage. And this is from, where is this from? I think this is from workbook lesson 169, actually, 169. By grace I live, by grace I am released. It's great, one of the great lessons as well. I mean, all the lessons are great. I think that one is one of my favorites. And this is a key passage from it that gets quoted a lot, and I just call it God is. Ken Wapnick wrote a bunch of books. He worked closely with Helen Schuckman on the editing of the course, also with Bill, but more closely with Helen. And I think he said in one of his last interviews that his final book would be God Is. I'm thinking that I might write that book, talking about him and the course, and Helen, of course, and Bill, and the whole history of the course at some point, but I haven't gotten there yet. So anyway, God is. Here we go. Oneness is simply the idea God is, and in his being, he encompasses all things. No mind holds anything but him. We say God is, quote, God is, unquote, and then we cease to speak. For in that knowledge, words are meaningless. There are no lips to speak them, and no part of mind sufficiently distinct to feel that it is now aware of something not itself. It has united with its source, and like its source itself, it merely is. We cannot speak nor write nor even think of this at all. It comes to every mind when total recognition that its will is God's has been completely given and received completely. It returns the mind into the endless present, where the past and future cannot be conceived. It lies beyond salvation, past all thoughts of time, forgiveness, and the holy face of Christ. The Son of God has merely disappeared into his Father, as his Father has in him. The world has never been at all. Eternity remains a constant state. Wow, right? I'm actually doing this on Easter Day 2025 on the Big Island of Hawaii. Aloha from the Big Island, and happy Easter to all of you out there. It might not be Easter by the time I put this out, but this is my special ACIM Easter message. We're going to go through it again, but we could talk just for a moment about Jesus. What does Easter symbolize and celebrate? But the risen Christ, right? Christ is risen. I'm not. I don't come from a Christian background, so I don't follow the holiday so much. And now I'm really more into not the ritual aspects of religion so much as the psycho-spiritual, let's say, aspects. And really the course is not about ritual so much as it is about understanding and practicing these things to change your mind, right? Changing your mind really is what it's all about. Rituals can help that, actually. Rituals can be useful in that regard. And they cannot be useful. Sometimes they can get in the way. But, I think ultimately we wouldn't put down any religion or any way of doing things if it's sincere, right? If it's authentic and sincere. And really, we don't want to judge things anyway. I don't think we want to judge anyway, because that's where we're going with all this is non-judgment. So God is. Oneness is simply the idea God is. and in his being, he encompasses all things. So oneness. Oneness is simply the idea God is. And in his being, he encompasses all things. There's nothing other than God, right? Or you could say love, because God and love really are the same, or you could say that God is only love. Or you can talk about the love of God. It really does not matter, because these are just words, right? Words are just symbols. The concepts, this is going to take us beyond all concepts, right? Because there's not going to be a person anymore to think these things. But let's read this. Oneness is simply the idea God is, and in his being he encompasses all things. No mind holds anything but him, which really means that there is no personal mind anymore, right? When you get to that point, you become basically one with everything, right? And there's only, you could say there's one mind, but that doesn't make any sense in terms that we think, in the terms that we think about these things. That doesn't really make any sense. This is beyond words, beyond concepts, remember. We say God is, and then we cease to speak. For in that knowledge, words are meaningless. Right? No more words, no more ideas, no more concepts, no more course, no more world. It's all gone. There are no lips to speak them, and no part of mind sufficiently distinct to feel that it is now aware of something not itself, which is non-duality, right? That's what this is pointing at. Jesus does not say non-duality, but how would you understand this if not in those terms? There are no lips, there's no body, right? In this state of being, which we call God is, call it God is, there's no body, there's no lips, there's no words, there's nothing to talk, there's nothing even to think about that is not itself. So there's no separate mind anymore. There's no separation. There's no subject and object. There's no duality. Perception is no more. Perception is defined by subject and object. There's a subject experiencing an object. But in this state of God is, there's no more subject and object. There's no more perception. There's no more separation. There is only oneness. It has united with its source, and like its source itself. What is the source? Source is God, right? Source is love. Source is the oneness. It is united with its source, and like its source itself, it merely is. Right? So it becomes one with its source. Just like its source merely is, so does that mind that unites with the source become isness, right? We cannot speak nor write nor even think of this at all. Right? There's no words that can express what this is. We can't think or talk our way to this. We can only point toward it. But the words will fail, right? Ultimately, the words will fail. The ideas, the concepts will fail. The beliefs, anything that is of duality is going to fail, because it will dissolve, right? Let's not say fail. It will not help us to get there, and we will not be able to express it in words, because it is inexpressible, because it is beyond words, it is beyond concepts. It comes to every mind when total recognition that its will is God's has been completely given and completely received. And received completely. So in other words, you have to fulfill the conditions necessary for this to happen. And this whole lesson 169, Jesus is talking about grace, right? So grace comes when you have unified your will with God's will. When you're so in alignment with the will of God that you will just return back home again, because you have fulfilled the conditions necessary for that to happen. And so the Course is helping you to fulfill those conditions, which really means just weeding out all of the unloving thoughts, right? All of the egoic thoughts. It returns the mind into the endless present, where the past and future cannot be conceived. It lies beyond salvation. Okay, so the endless present, there's no past and future. There's only, you could say, the endless present, or the presence, loving presence, where there's only the eternal now, right? It lies beyond salvation, past all thoughts of time, forgiveness, and the holy face of Christ. So this goes even beyond the face of Christ. Christ is no more, right? There's no even concept of Christ anymore. There's no concept of forgiveness anymore. These are concepts that are useful for us because we are in duality, so they can help us, but ultimately these make no sense in reality. There's no salvation, there's no forgiveness, there's no time, there's no space. Everything is gone, and there's only the endless present. The Son of God has merely disappeared into his Father, as his Father has in him. This is a very important line that I think can be overlooked and can be maybe misunderstood. What is this saying? Jesus does not come right out and say it, but what is he saying except that Son of God and Father really don't mean anything in the end, right? These are just concepts. These are not the reality. The reality is oneness, total oneness, endless present. There's no words, there's no concepts, there's no separation anymore. I think this is what Jesus is getting at. You tell me what you think this is saying. I would love to hear your take on it, your interpretation, and I'm completely open to other interpretations. I don't judge anyone's understanding. I'm just expressing here my own understanding what this means. The world has never been at all. Eternity remains a constant state. So eternity has never changed, right? God has never changed. That's the atonement principle of the Course. That God is still God. Eternal love is still eternal love. The endless present is still the endless present. It's never changed. It's waiting for us, right? It's waiting. It's been waiting for eternity for us to recognize it, to realize it, right? We are the only thing that's keeping us from that is ourself, is our own thoughts. And because we take the world to be real, right? We take this experience of duality of the world of perception to be reality, and it's really not, right? There's a reality beyond the surface appearance, the superficial appearance of this world. There is a deeper reality that has always been, and I think a great term is the ground of being. And I've kind of joked that God is a good word, but gob might be a better word, G-O-B, right? Ground of being, in the sense that it's a changeless state. It has never changed, has never gone anywhere, and never done anything. And somehow this world of appearance, this world of illusion has arisen, but that ground of being has never changed. And how that is another video, a long talk, but we'll get there at some point. But I hope this was helpful. I don't want to make these videos too long, these golden moments. Anyway, God is. Happy Easter. This is all about the resurrection of the Son of God. And don't forget that the Son of God is you. And so as you do this practice, as you do this work, you really are resurrecting the one Son in yourself. and everyone goes home with you as you do this work, and you'll see how that is, I think, as you do it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. Would always love to hear from you, and see you until next time. One love. God is.